All right, let's talk about something big that's happening in the world of work. There's this quiet revolution going on that's completely changing how we learn on the job. It's called microlearning, and trust me, you're going to want to know what it's all about. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been in one of those all-day training sessions? You know, you're drowning in binders, PowerPoint slides, and then a week later, poof, it's all gone. We've all been there, right? That exact frustration is a huge red flag that the old way of doing things is kind of broken.
But what if there was a better way? A way that actually works with our brains instead of against them? Well, there is. And that brings us to the hero of our story today, microlearning. It's the answer we've been looking for in our super busy digital world. So what is this thing exactly? Well, at its heart, microlearning is actually pretty simple. It's all about taking these huge, overwhelming topics and just breaking them down into small, focused, bite-sized pieces. So instead of a training marathon, think of it more like a bunch of quick sprints where each one is designed to teach you one specific thing right when you actually need it. And this is really where the light bulb goes on. When you see it next to what we're all used to, macrolearning, that's the big picture stuff. It's your university courses, those long onboarding programs. It gives you the foundation. Microlearning, on the other hand, is your on-the-spot support. It's that 2-minute video you watch to remember how to do something in Excel, or the quick checklist you pull up on your phone just before you walk into a meeting.
Okay, so the idea sounds good, right? But does it actually work? Let's dive into the numbers, because the proof is pretty staggering. We're talking huge improvements in retention, engagement, and even how much it costs.
First up, let's talk about memory. Get this, research from the Journal of Applied Psychology found that this approach can boost how much you remember by up to 80%. 80! And it's not some kind of magic trick, it's just science. Our brains are wired to learn best in these short, focused bursts. It just works. But what good is training if nobody actually finishes it? Well, look at this gap. It's massive. Microlearning courses have completion rates way up around 80%. Meanwhile, a lot of those traditional, long e-learning courses, they struggle to even hit 20%. It turns out, when learning can actually fit into your day, you stick with it.
And it's not just about getting to the end. It's about how people feel while they're doing it. Companies are reporting a 50% jump in employee engagement after switching. And it makes sense, right? It's more interactive, it's way less overwhelming, and let's be honest, it's just more fun.
And here is the real kicker, especially for the business side of things. It is so much more efficient to create. You can make a 5-minute video up to 300% faster and for 50% less money than it takes to build a whole hour-long course. So it's a win for the person learning, and it's a huge win for the business.
Okay, so we know why it's so effective. But what does microlearning actually look like when you're doing it? It's not just one thing. It comes in all sorts of cool shapes and sizes.
And the variety is just fantastic because it's meant to fit into any part of your day. We're talking short videos, little audio clips perfect for a commute. You've got interactive quizzes, true or false questions, digital flashcards to test yourself in seconds. Maybe you get a quick do's and don'ts list before a call or flip through a quick slideshow. And yeah, it can even be a game. Every single format is built for that quick, focused hit of information.
Let's actually zoom in on that last one for a second, because it's one of the coolest examples, gamification. This is how you make learning feel less like a chore and way more like a fun challenge.
The whole idea is to use the same things that make games so addictive, but for learning. So you assign points for finishing a quiz, you set up leaderboards for some friendly competition, and you let people earn badges and level up as they make progress. It totally taps into that natural human drive to achieve and compete. Now, as much as I'm singing its praises, we have to be realistic. Microlearning is powerful, for sure, but it's not some magic bullet that solves every single training problem out there.
You know, as the experts over at AutoLearn put it, it just isn't the best tool for certain jobs. The real key is knowing when to use it and when something else might be a better fit.
For example, you would never use it to teach a super complex topic from the ground up, right? Like, you wouldn't do the initial training for a critical safety procedure with just a few flashcards. And it's definitely not a replacement for those deep, collaborative discussions you need to have with your team. If you only use microlearning, you risk getting these little disconnected bits of information without the big picture to hold them all together.
So the takeaway here isn't about choosing sides. It's not micro versus macro. The real magic, the future of learning, happens when you realize they're not rivals, they're partners.
And this is really the perfect way to think about it. Macrolearning builds the foundation. It gives you the deep context, the why. Then microlearning comes in to reinforce everything, to refresh your memory. It gives you the how and the what right in the moment you're about to do the work. They work together perfectly.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. What if we completely changed how we think about learning? What if it wasn't this separate thing on our calendar that we have to pull people away from their jobs for? What if instead it was just a seamless, daily habit woven directly into the flow of how we work? That's the powerful shift that microlearning makes possible.